Welcome back, and welcome to another great pedestrian adventure. And so here we are. We're reflecting upon the concept here that Scripture conveys. Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Sometimes we get into a situation where that's how it goes. We can't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing. Because sometimes it can be the case that there might be people in our life where it's really not their place to say, and they may try to restrict grace. They may know that we're about to give out some grace, and they may try to restrict it, and so as a result, they may be in a situation where they think by some form of manipulation that they're going to get some sort of reward out of it, and that's where we don't want the left hand to know what the right hand is doing. It's kind of like if you're in a business and you're looking at hiring somebody, and maybe they're like highly qualified, highly talented person that doesn't have a lot of work experience, and everybody at the company there has a lot of work experience, and maybe they won't let in the guy that's got a lot of education because they have some real steep views and how work experience is key and chief and supreme over everything. And so you're in a situation here where as a manager that you're wanting to hire the guy that has education alone, but you're kind of at a struggle because of some of the other people that work there, and so that's where you're not going to let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, and you're just going to hire that person that has the stellar education, but no work experience maybe, and sometimes too you get in the situation where maybe there are some people that live down in the projects, and they don't have vehicles or anything, and you go down there and you see the situation. You know that they're looking for a job, and but they don't have any vehicles to go where they need to go to have a job, and so here you are, and you're not going to let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, and maybe you might help them out, and but if you do, let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, then you can get into a situation where there's like a force that attempts to restrict the grace. There's this idea that not to give such people anything, that really we're just going to keep the graces of God for ourselves, and not share them, and just become richer and richer, and sometimes it's not right. I know too that there are a lot of situations where there are a lot of people that are very, very poor and destitute, and maybe they could have some good things in their life, and maybe they're believers, and you go to try to help them out or something, and your landlord raises your rent or something like that, and it shows a great deal of hostility and anger because the idea is that they haven't worked for it and this and that, and you know, this offense at grace, and you know, we want to try to we want to try to give grace when we can. You know, we don't want to ever have a situation where we're unable to give grace because we let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, and then as a result we're not able to share grace when it's appropriate. Now, there is a situation that can occur, of course, where people they might try to defraud you, you know, with their need of resources and stuff like that, and you know, they may try to, you know, might really have a great deal, and you know, they may appear poorer than what they are, and you know, be trying to get what little you have too, and you know, just give an example of this. I know when I went to SIU in Carbondale, there were some people that they rode the train professionally, and what I mean by that is they weren't the conductor and they weren't the engineer. You know, they were people that were passengers, but from what I understand, I guess what they would do is they would just ride the train and then approach various people that would be legitimate passengers, and these so-called business people, they would ride the train and they would bum money off of passengers. You know, they would claim that that they're in a problem in their life where you know, they're on their last dollar, and that they don't have enough money to get home, and they need a train ticket or something like that. And so you know, you see this kind of thing all the time, like in the Chicago train station, where people are always asking for some sort of money to buy train tickets and stuff like that, because they claim they don't have enough money, and maybe they claim somebody stole their wallet, or they claim that they're just out of money, and that they have a relative that's got cancer or something, and they need to get to the relative and stuff. Well, sometimes some of that can be legitimate. You know, sometimes there are situations that occur where indeed there are people that you know, they have a need in their life. You know, there's sometimes, you know, it might be like the people say, but most of the time it likely isn't. I mean, and so what happens there is you have all these people that they're just constantly bumming money off of you. You know, they're just constantly making up a new excuse, you know, and claiming that they got relatives or whoever that are dying or whatever, and need some money for the train, and or they're stranded or God knows what. And you know, that's not right. It's not right when it's like that. You know, I know too that there are a lot of people that you know, they get into situations where because things are like that, people that do have legitimate needs, sometimes they try to maybe shy away from ever expressing a legitimate need, because you know, they don't want to appear as though that they're like all the other people that are they're bumming money off of people, and you know, it's really sad. It's really sad. And I mean, I know, you in my life that there are people that I've known that I think have had legitimate needs, and they've come to me with their legitimate needs, and I've helped them out. And sometimes their needs are more legitimate than other times, and I mean, and some of that, it's a matter of not letting the left hand know what the right hand is doing, because when you let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, then there's kind of a war against grace that suddenly can appear. And sometimes I know, just to give an example here, one time I knew some people, and we used to provide them funds for their medicines and stuff, and their medicines were like only $1 because the insurance or whatever would cover the rest, or God knows what would cover the rest, and so like I was okay with paying $1, let's say. And $1 in this country is next to nothing, but the situation was that other people that that were within the same household, those people, other people in the household, were approached about $1, and were infuriated, to give $1. And I mean, sometimes that happens. I mean, that people are all different, and sometimes you don't know, who's a gracious person, who's not a gracious person. And I mean, sometimes you can get into a situation where you go to give $1, and it's just infuriates people that are just totally opposed to grace. And I mean, it happens a lot, and I know it's real sad. I mean, like if it's medications especially, I mean, like we should do what we can. I know that medical practitioners tend to have higher and higher costs that they sometimes impose on, or higher fees, as it were, they sometimes impose on people. And the field of medicine, I mean, it can be so costly that a little thing, like where I live, just to give an example, if you need to go to the hospital where I live, a lot of times, I mean, you go in there and you have to spend like $10,000. I mean, and it can be like that pretty much every time you go there. And you look into it and you see why it costs so much, and a lot of times the people that are treating the people that come into the hospital, like through the emergency room, sometimes they're independent contractors, I guess, or whatever the situation is, and they're people that they have a business in one way or another in doing their specialties, and so various specialists come in, and then they charge the fees that specialists would charge. And so you might be there for maybe 4 or 6 hours, and you might have a bill of close to 10 grand, and then the insurance might cover a good portion of that, depending upon what kind of insurance you got. And then, needless to say, you may find yourself paying a lot of it. And I don't know. I apologize if I'm a little fuzzy on this. So if I get some things a little inaccurate, I apologize. But that's just kind of how it seems to me. And I'll tell you, if you're dirt poor and you only make like $10,000 a year or some little amount like that, and you go to the hospital and you have to have some kind of bill for 10 grand or whatever. I mean, it's like the hospital's going to be owning you. I mean, unless they got some kind of financial assistance programs or something where they're going to, give you money or provide for your needs or whatever. I mean, they're going to have such a high bill possibly that you might not be able to pay it. Now things have gotten better. Things have gotten better over the course of years here, and I know that these days there's a lot more financial assistance, and insurance is now, I guess, legally required in our state. But so in some ways, I mean, that can be better only for the fact that you're able to have lower maybe lower out-of-pocket bills perhaps, but I mean, it's still bad. But anyway, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing sometimes, and when God says that you need to give grace, and that's sometimes how you have to do it. So anyway, God be blessed, God be praised, and God love you and keep you forever. Bye for now.